The Trains to the Past, Part 5, written and read for you by Emily Z. Prologue. Max. Max sat up and rubbed his eyes. He crawled over to his parents and shook them awake.
"Wow," his father said. "We must have been really tired. How did we fall asleep here?"
Was Laura a good babysitter, honey? His mother asked from the other side of him. Laura's not even here, Max answered. She just left with an old guy in a uniform and a teenage boy, and a girl. You know, the people who made you fall asleep.
What people? How could they not remember?
Like the strangers, you know, the purple ball. You do remember, right? All he got in response were blank stares. Max, dear, his mom spoke up. You have an amazing imagination, and that's a great thing. But please, don't let these silly jokes get out of hand, okay? Max nodded, but when his parents closed the door and left Laura's room, he sighed in frustration. How could his parents not remember? He liked science, especially this kind of science. He'd read every single book he could find on gas bombs, sleeping bombs, but he'd never heard of a memory-erasing bomb. He cautiously made his way over to the purple ball, poked it with a pencil, and when nothing happened, he picked it up. This alone should be proof enough, he thought, running his fingers along the sphere. But if you don't believe that you were hypnotized and that your memories were stolen by your own daughter and her friends, I'll give you more proof. Max stood up and walked across the hall to his room, a look of determination set on his face, not that anyone was there to see it, and tucked the purple orb away in his nightstand. I'll give you more proof, Mom and Dad. I'll show you that this wasn't a part of my imagination. Whatever I need to do. The Trains of the Past. You just... I can't even believe what just happened. A lot of people say that seeing is believing, but under these circumstances, that rule definitely doesn't apply. I must say, I'm kind of proud of myself for not screaming and freaking out too much. I mean, I've been on a flying train and met hundreds of different me's. I've stuck my head into a glowing door and projected my voice throughout timelines of my life. I've been in a hot air balloon made from an origami box. Also, all of that is completely true. You're likely wondering if I've hallucinated all this or if I'm telling you one of my weird dreams. But I'm not, so please believe me. I'd say I'm almost brave. Almost. I finally settled for saying, "Are you magic?" I earned myself a startled laugh from William and hurried to explain myself. I mean, when we were on the train and when you transported me home, you guys had explanations for all that. Scientific, research-based explanations. But now there's a glowing door that can whisk people to different times and a ball that can erase memories. Am I starting to sound hysterical? Probably. We're walking through a forest or a meadow or somewhere of trees, and I'm not very happy about becoming dinner for the mosquitoes. Or lying to my family. Or taking so many risks, or not knowing what our enemy's next move is. Or what might happen next, or the information the conductor and William are going to throw at me and expect me to take in, or the... No, I say, locking my knees firmly in place. William turns to me. No? He repeats. No, I say again. No more running. No more lying. No more tossing mysteries and excuses at me. No more living in a sci-fi world. Not until you explain everything to me.
Must you be so difficult?
The conductor asks. Oh, I'm being difficult? Really? Me? Ha. Yeah, right, I scoff. It's like you're wizards from Harry Potter or something, and you try to drag a muggle into your adventure. William looks at me blankly. I freeze. Are you human? I ask slowly, silently, holding my breath. William and the conductor exchange a look that clearly says,
If you don't tell her, I won't either.
Well, Laura starts, are you human? Of course, I shout. Okay, my point is, if you're human and I'm a past version of you, that means I'm a human as well. I sigh. I'm going to check the bottom of the hill, I say. It's the same excuse William used and it worked last time. I wait for someone to protest, to tell me, stop overreacting, or to remind me that we don't have time for me to sulk. But when no one speaks up, I make my way down the grassy slope. It's steeper than it looks, and as much as I hate to admit it, without William or his grandfather to guide me, my foot slides, and I trip at least 3 times before I reach the scene of the train wreck. It's not a typical train wreck, not the kind when a train crashes into something. This train was blown up. Like, with a bomb. I think back to my message to the hundreds of me and start to feel proud of myself for coming. I catch a few girls walking around the destruction site, but they vanish, probably back to their timelines when they see me approaching. At least 20 rose pendants are hovering in the air. I'd call it magic, but William will likely tell me that no, they're resting on the crystallized air molecules that form when they're combined with... Arg! Why can't I spend even a minute without one of them popping into my mind? It's like I can hear his voice. That's when I realize I can. Laura! William calls, running over. I roll my eyes, but secretly I'm glad he came. A little. But still. I head forward and start plucking the pendants out of the air. It's oddly satisfying. I'll help you, William offers. I snort. If you think I'm not strong enough to carry 20 necklaces by myself, I have no idea how you became the genius you are now. I'm a genius? He asks, clearly missing the part he was meant to hear. Actually, never mind, he says, turning toward the train. I came here to ask you a favor. Again? I ask sarcastically. Yeah. He blushes, and I suddenly feel bad for the things I've said. Only a little, but still. Fine, what? I'm trying to sound as bored as possible, but I can't help silencing my steps and listening a lot more carefully. We need to go back into the train. I can't believe I'm doing this, I say for the millionth time, picking my way around a jagged splinter of wood. I hate to sound so whiny, but this place is creepy. It used to be so glorious, so amazing, so grand, so majestic, and now it's gone. All gone. Piles of dust and rubble and glass replace the beautiful furnishing and walls. It looks like one of those scenes in spy movies when the cops are running in to check for evidence. But this is so much worse. I feel a stabbing sense of guilt in my chest, remembering how it felt to move away from our old house and donate or sell so many things. At least those things went to good hands. Those things weren't destroyed mercilessly. My home wasn't destroyed mercilessly. I'm sorry, I whisper. William blinks at me. For what? He's right, for what? For the destruction of the train, for being such a brat, for not knowing what to do, for ruining our lives, for trying to stop talking and triggering so many memories or I'll start crying. None of that is your fault, Laura, he reassures me. Well, I guess the being a brat thing is your fault. He trails off at the icy glare I shoot him, crying forgotten. You've never even told me what we're looking for, I remind him. Right, it's a piece of paper, a blueprint. Okay. I run toward the first piece of bluish paper, which turned out to be a torn piece of the wallpaper, and immediately trip. I land, thankfully, on my elbows instead of my face. I drag myself up to my feet and feel my shoe brush against something. Something small. Something black. Something warm. Something that's quivering. Something in the shape of a rose. I drop the black rose pendant and jump back, meeting someone's eyes. For a second I expect it to be William, but this guy might as well be the exact opposite. Instead of blonde hair, his hair is jet black, and his bangs hang down into his eyes. His eyes glisten mysteriously as he cocks an eyebrow and says, You're not Will. His voice is deeper than William's, too, and his casual posture, slouched against the fallen sofa, seems rather out of place considering where we are now. You two are in a fight, I hear. Well, I guess that'll come in handy. For me, I mean. The guy who is not William comments, right as William walks up to us. He stares at the guy stares at him. William blinks. The guy keeps staring, but a small smirk settles across his features. Awkward silence. More awkward silence. I can practically hear crickets chirping in the background. I say just to break the silence. No answer. Great. Out of desperation, I elbow William and hiss, Stop blinking and staring. The guy barks a sharp laugh. That's my brother for you, always so clueless and dumbfounded. He hops off the perch on the sofa, landing straight in front of William. Hello, twin. Long time no see. Twin. Jack! You destroyed this train? I shout, lunging for him. How could you? William grabs my arm and pulls me back, shaking his head. Well, finally, someone comes to their senses, Jack compliments, tossing something into the air. Oh no. Is that what I think it is? I whisper to William, who seems to have had the same realization dawn on him. It's a purple ball, about the size of a baseball, and it looks familiar. Jack says, tossing the ball into the air again. Have you ever wondered how it felt when you two hypnotized their parents and erased their memories? Well, lucky you, you're about to find out. William starts to back away, pulling me with him.
Brother,
Jack laughs.
How could you forget? When we made these together, I made one for myself too. And ever since I was broken, my mind has gotten even stronger, so nighty-night.
On the next toss, Jack makes an exaggerated motion of letting the ball slip through his fingers and shatter on the floor. Purple smoke fills the room. It smells of violets and lavender and lemons and candy, and it's suddenly so warm in the room. I feel my eyelids drooping and my body starts to sway. It's like I can physically feel my mind drifting away, giving up without even trying. I grab onto William's sleeve and try to stand up, only to fall again. "No!" I shout, or tried to shout, or screamed, or whispered, or didn't even shout at all.
Sweet dreams,
Jack said with a laugh.
Sleep tight.
With that, he shoves all the furniture in the room toward the door, which is really a gap in the wall, and runs off. The last thing I hear are his pounding footsteps and William's soft breathing before I drift off to sleep. Epilogue. Past Laura. "Where's Laura and William?" Laura asked, pacing around a large oak tree. She wanted a new name. Even though she was insignificant, she wanted to be her own person, not the past life of someone else. William's grandfather sighed again.
I'm not aware of their location, Laura. I'm certain they'll make their way out soon.
"Well, they're not!" Laura exclaimed, throwing her hands up in the air and sitting down on the grass. At least it wasn't wet anymore. "I'm going to look for them," she decided, standing up. "Sitting on the grass doing nothing has got to be the worst activity ever."
If you'd like,
the conductor said, following her down the hill. Laura didn't need to see a train again. She'd been the last person to get dropped off, and she watched a bomb explode. She looked up, shielding herself from the sun, and saw a black shape flying across the sky. It was too small to be a bird. "It's just an airplane," she scolded herself. "Don't be so jumpy." But did all airplanes have moving bird-like wings? And Laura was sure regular airplanes didn't have long necks. "OMG, it's an animal! What giant animal flies? Dinosaur? Giant bird? Bats? No, too small. Dragon? OMG, it's a dragon!"
Laura, are you all right?
the conductor asked, peering down at her. Laura cleared her throat. Of course, I'm fine. Let's keep going." "Ah!" Laura screamed as she saw William and the older Laura sprawled out across the floor. "Ah!" Oh. They weren't dead, just asleep. William popped up like a jack-in-the-box and stared around wildly.
Laura, I wasn't asleep for an hour, was I? Where's Jack? William, did you hit your head when you fell asleep?
His grandfather asked, squinting at him. "Laura!" Laura shouted and slapped her face lightly. When she saw both William and his grandfather staring at her, she shrugged and explained, "I saw people do it in a movie. Why isn't it working?" Laura's eyelids fluttered, and she opened her mouth wide in a yawn and stretched her arms over her head. She turned her head slowly from side to side, blinking at the people around her, and asked, "I'm sorry, but who are you?"
The end. Thank you for listening. I hope you have enjoyed The Trains to the Past, Part 5. Click on the links below in the comments section for Parts 1 to 4. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with family and friends. Part 6, coming soon.